No.
Could you imagine? Hi, caravanners. Hi, caravanners. Right, am I live? I don't know if I'm live or not yet. This is this awkward bit. I think we are live. Right, let me just double check on the app and make sure we are live. Hi, everybody. Hello, 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 and welcome to our weekly Live at 5. We're having a little bit of a change this week. So instead of me doing all the talking, another Emma is going to do all the talking. So I don't imagine many of you will know Emma, unless we've got a secret Emma fan club here, but this is Emma Duncan, and she's going to tell us a bit more about herself in a minute anyway. But I wanted to bring Emma in because she's got quite a cool backstory about her time between finding us and joining us. I think quite interesting. And just to hear, she's just not long finished her initial 90 days. And yeah, I just wanted her to share our progress and on all the stuff that goes alongside it. Just give me a wee second, Emma. So the other thing I wanted to talk about actually, now, Chris Moyles, remember we had this conversation about all Emmas are evil a long time ago, right? So if you are a woman in your 40s, like imagine most of you are, Chris Moyles' breakfast show used to have this segment called All Emmas Are Evil, right? Now, not many people can remember this, but I want everybody to think back to the 90s with All Emmas Are Evil. Anyway, right. Any questions? Pop in below. Right, so my love, I think we'll just start off. If you can just give us all a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, what do you do, how old are you, any other pertinent information. Just imagine it's like a job interview, so not scary.
So I live in the northeast of England, married with 2 children who are 10 and 12, and I'm a department manager for a utility company. So I used to work for a utility company for up to nearly 30, well, more than 30 years.
Have you?
Redundant, yeah, got made redundant and joined another utility company in the middle of last year.
Oh, wow. So are you mental just now, given the increase in pricing and whatnot, or is it completely out with your remit?
No, it is. It's quite a difficult time. So I do work in debt recovery as well. So it's really challenging. Customers are starting to struggle financially, and so things are getting really, really busy. Lots of customers wanting to go on payment plans, or even those that have been on payment plans starting to fail and needing some additional support. So yeah, we're trying to put some extra things in place to support them.
Yeah, God, it's going to be tough and going to be really busy. I got my email. Everybody's like, have you had your email yet? It's like exams. Have you had your email yet? It's like, yes, I got mine yesterday.
Yeah.
And this was despite me the past couple of weeks. I was going through my Hive, changing all the times that the lights are scheduled to come on, scheduling the time of the heating, went into the boiler, turned down the temperature and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, we'll be fine. And then the email comes in, I was like, oh my God.
I know, even working for them, I've done exactly the same. So
I know, it's what you can do. Right, okay, but back to you. So tell us a little bit about, right, you're a client of ours. How long have you been with us now? And what have your results been like so far?
So 4 months, just finished the initial 90 days, and results from that 90 days, I have lost 15.25 inches and 11 pounds.
That's amazing.
Yes,
that is
more
amazing.
than I've lost in a very, very long time.
Yes, I know, I remember. So right, tell us, go before that then. So before joining as a client, how did you come to be in our environment? So had you been in the group? Did you find us on Facebook? How did it all happen before we started chatting?
Found on Facebook, so tried a lot of things in the past, and came across it in kind of October time of last year, and just started following the group from there. And then in December, did I think there was like a 5-day challenge.
Oh yeah,
So I did that and got involved in that. So that's kind of like where it all started from. Just looking for something different and something that would work, because nothing seemed to have worked up until that point.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you about that. So what, where were you? I mean, what was going on with your body? How were you feeling? How was the dieting going? What were you struggling with?
Quite a lot of it, really. So I've been in medical menopause since I was 41. So I had my ovaries taken out, which put me straight into full-on cold turkey menopause as well. No HRT allowed.
God. Yeah.
So and had a horrible first year dealing with that. My weight didn't really change at that point, though. It was more after that. It was just a couple of pounds every year, and then another couple, and then another couple. And then it just became a standing joke between me and my husband to say, you're always going to be this weight. Doesn't matter what you do, what you try, nothing seems to work. You'll just bounce back. So I was like a typical woman that just gained a stone because of menopause and then just couldn't lose it. That was absolutely me. I had some really good habits. I've always worked out up on a morning before the kids are up, even when they were little, get it over and done with. So I did resistance training, because that's what you're supposed to do as an older lady.
An older lady.
Older lady, I know.
Not Emma over here.
I've tracked calories. I use MyFitnessPal, literally anything and everything. And I've tried loads of different diet plans as well. So done Weight Watchers, Slim and World. I did Joe Wicks 90 days. I've tried Fast 800. I've tried 5-2. I've done intermittent fasting, and all of these things that were kind of like, when you Google it, it's recommended for menopausal women. And I thought, well, one of these has got to work. One of these has got to work. And none of them did. And then a couple of years ago, I did a coaching program similar to this across 4 months. And whilst I did see some changes, I still didn't lose any weight. So, and it was so my body shape did change. I lost about 9 centimeters on my waist, and that was it. But my weight literally bounced between 2 or 3 pounds. So
I remember that conversation, and you're like, I know I should be really happy with what I've got.
I know,
but I'm not.
I'm not. Because I guess it's only a stone, but for me, I'm only 5'3", and I've never had that. I've never been that weight. The last time I was that weight, I was pregnant. So yeah, and I just thought, most of that, I thought, God, I could have at least been like 7 months pregnant to be this weight. And obviously I just wasn't.
Yes, absolutely. So like then when we first spoke, so we spoke a couple of times on and off on the phone and over email. And the first time we spoke, it was more like what is it that you do, and kind of how is it any different from what I've done already? And as you say, you'd already done quite a high-end coaching program with another coach. So what do you, like, if you think back, what were your hesitations about, making that commitment to another coach?
Because I just couldn't see why it was going to be different. Because even from the 5-day challenge, I didn't lose weight on that, but it was over a weekend. And I did have a social activity on that weekend as well, so it was never going to work over 5 days. But I just couldn't work out why it would be different. And because the last one hadn't worked out, I just thought, what, I can't do that again and wait and wait and wait for the next one and the next one, and for it to still be no further forward. So
So what kind of tipped you over the edge? Like, that's the kind of like, what changed? Like, was it something internally that said, fuck it, I'm going to give it a shot? Or was it something that you'd read or something that you'd seen that, God, you know what, at least I have to try?
So it was probably a combination of Christmas. So I'd done the 5-day challenge just before Christmas, hit Christmas, went away and everything for New Year as well. That was the first time I think you were just allowed to go away at that point. Everybody was out of lockdown. And just came back even heavier again. And I was literally within 3 or 4 pounds of that 9-month pregnancy weight. And I just thought, no, I can't do this. I was coming up on thinking, right, in a couple of years' time, I'm going to be 50. And guess what? I'm going to be even heavier than what I am now. So I just need to do something now, because it was just miserable. So it's just not me. And I just felt really uncomfortable and not very confident at all. So I just fed up with trying.
Yeah.
When you tried again for like 6 or 7 years and nothing else works, I just thought, you know what, I've got nothing to lose really, so let's give it a shot. Looked at some of the testimonials of women who were similar, and there was one particular lady who was in a similar situation to me, been through medical menopause, and I watched her video 3 times and just thought, that's me. So and then coincidentally, you dropped me a message just saying, how did Christmas go? And that was it. I was like, right.
The stars have aligned. The stars have aligned, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you know, I remember when Lisa had mentioned that Lisa's one of our admin team, she'd messaged, she's like, Emma Duncan. I was like, oh yeah, Emma Duncan. How's she getting on? And we'll see what we can go ahead with her, because she was like, when I first spoke, she was like, you are one of us. I can feel you. I know this. I know where you're coming from. It's that kind of way, going, right, she's just not quite ready. She's just not ready to do that again. So what do you think, like, given what you thought then about, I can't see why this is any different, I can't see how it's going to change things for me, what has surprised you that you, or what didn't you expect that you've eventually got?
So for me, it's been the really clear goal setting, and the fact that they are my goals. So I know it was only a stone, and to a lot of people that wouldn't necessarily be, you know, a big deal to them, but for me it was. But right from the outset, there was a real focus on what my goals are, what is it that I want, and not just for sort of, you know, the first 90 days, but what you want to do in the next 12 months, where do you want to be in 12 months time. The other thing that surprises is how easy it is, because it kind of, it's like a slow build over time. You do one thing and then you do the next thing and then you do the next thing. So it hasn't been like overwhelming, because when I've done other things in the past, you get a load of information, you have to start doing a load of things, and it just becomes so complicated that by the second week in, you just think, do you know what, this is just too hard, and you give up. So so for me, doing it gradually and just focusing on that one thing was really, really good. So I was very impatient though. I was like,
no shit, Sherlock.
But I think even from like the end of week 1, things started to change, and I was like, do you know what, it is worth it.
How has that happened?
I know. I thought, I can't believe that I've like waited all this time, because it literally, from the end of week 1, I could start to see that things were starting to shift. And then the other exciting thing was that I could eat carbs. I was told to eat carbs. Everything that I'd read up until then, I have done low carb diets for years. I'll serve up everybody else's food and mine will be there with a salad or the veg on the side. But it just meant that all of the time that I was trying to train and track calories and things, I was just knackered, permanently knackered, because I didn't have the energy to do the training that you then need to then help, you know, lose the weight. And then because you're then tired, your body's obviously, well, I think it was quite clearly stressed. So I didn't feel stressed, but I think my body was under stress because I was just trying to force it to do too much, and just not fueling it in the right way. So
you were training a lot.
Yeah. And when I think about doing even things like fast 800, that was like 2 meals a day, 800 calories a day, which is nothing. So
oh my god, that's mental. That's absolutely mental. How many calories are you on now, incidentally?
I was on 1250, just gone to 1350. So
building in the maintenance
I don't know what to do with those extras though. I know, so that's a big jump.
So today I having carbs. Imagine that, being allowed carbs, mental. So yeah, I remember us talking initially, and you were like, it is important for me to be able to have that social life and be able to have a drink at the weekends and be able to sit down and relax with a wee drink. So you still getting to do that?
Absolutely. Every single weekend.
So
Every
proud.
single weekend.
So proud.
So yeah, I've just built it in. So my Saturdays now are exactly the same. So we still do monthly date nights, go away, stay in a hotel, have, you know, sort of meal out, drinks, proper breakfast the morning after, which is lovely. And then other things with the kids if we're out for tea, or invariably if we're not out, it'll be takeaway and a couple of G&Ts. So
love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so important. Like, it's always been so important that people can do that. And because that's normal life. Like, anybody can do, like, you are testament, you can follow a 90-day 120-day program and cut out everything and be regimented. That's fine for that amount of time, but you can't live like that forever. Like,
no.
And the minute you start restricting yourself so much for a set amount of time, then you just go back to normal, like all the things that you've missed out on, and then boom, you're back to square one within a month.
Yeah, that's very much where I ended up. Yeah, because my workouts were literally 5 mornings a week, so it was full on an hour, of which 20 minutes would be like a hip workout, and then quite rigid in terms of the meal plan and what have you to follow. So, and it was high protein and very low carb. It was less than 50 grams of carbs as well.
Oh my god, how crab were you? So for ladies that don't track specifically like the amount of protein, amount of carbs, that's literally the equivalent of like 2 apples a day or something. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only carbohydrates. That would be 2 apples or like 1 slice of bread across the whole day. So no cereal, no potatoes, no cake, which incidentally, so the cake makers, so Catherine, Sarah and Penny, I made a birthday cake this week for my husband, and I am never making cake again because it's the most calorific thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. So from now on, I'm only eating shop bought cake because I can just pretend that it doesn't have the amount of butter and sugar that this cake that I have made has. Oh my god, ridiculous. So the other thing so this is a question from Vicky, who's one of the group. What was your volume of exercises like then versus now? So are you doing less exercise now than what you were doing then?
Yes, much less. So like I said, I was doing an hour every single morning, 5 days a week, of which 15 to 20 minutes every day was a HIIT workout. The rest was all resistance training with weights. Now I do 4 a week, just because I choose to do 4 rather than 3. I have a lovely little rest day on a Wednesday. So
that's why you're so zen today.
Yes. I still struggle not to wake up though, and not to think that I have to get up and do something. So I'm still working on that at the minute. So sometimes I will still get up and just do, I don't know, I'll do like some stretches or some yoga, just because I just naturally wake up at that time anyway, but nothing too strenuous. And nothing on a weekend either. So 4 days, 45 minutes, and that's it. So
how amazing is that? And your body will just thank you for it, because you'll have less aches, you'll be less like edgy all the time. Another question from the group: if you had a takeaway, what would you now choose to try and stay on track?
Right, so I've mastered this art now. So I know it was one of my goals though, to be able to plan ahead and to do that. I wanted to be able to carry on doing that on a Saturday, but still be able to lose weight and all the rest of it. So now I always plan ahead and make sure that during the day on the Saturday I have lighter meals, breakfast and lunch, get my steps in, get my water in, and then make sure that I'm ready for Saturday night takeaway. But I tend to pick things that are kind of leanish protein. I still avoid stuff that's in sauces, so I kind of try and steer clear of those. So for Indians, it might be something like chicken tikka or chicken shashlik. Or Chinese, I love the chicken skewers. I think it's a starter from our local takeaway, but I get it as a main course anyway. So satay skewers or something like chop suey. And then the stuff that I never used to do in the past, I will have egg fried rice, noodles and naan bread. So not the whole thing, not the whole tub, but a portion of. So
love it. Oh, I remember there's our local, I think it's Indian, and they do this, it's called the Weight Watcher special, and it is literally just dried chicken and salad. As I'm ordering my paneer pakora, like that, deep fried cheese, bring it on. Yeah, okay, so I am super happy. Like, as I say, when we first spoke, I get a vibe of like our people, and I knew that you weren't gone for good. I just knew. But given, like, one of the things that we've got quite a few clients that have come from different other coaches that don't necessarily specialize in women in their 40s, and we've actually had 2 others from the specific coach that you were with, and I'm not going to name names because that's not fair, but I think one of the key things that we see is this, when we have had clients from other coaching groups, it is this whole one size fits all. So, oh, you've not lost any weight, right, we're going to reduce your carbs. Oh, you've not lost any weight, we're going to reduce your carbs even further. And actually, from a hormonal response point of view, that is totally the wrong thing to do. So, and that's where a lot of this kind of cultural ingrained stuff comes from, of almost cut carbs, I must be really, really low fat, and I must just only eat salads. And again, over exercising, not eating enough food is actually going to put you said it yourself, your body does start producing more cortisol, it is more stress, so therefore it's just not going to focus its energy on losing fat because it doesn't give 2 shits. It just wants you to be breathing and like having your heartbeat and your liver and kidney function working properly, so it doesn't really care if you've got a stone to lose or not. But anyway, that's the science part. But for you, I mean, what an amazing turnaround, like loving life, exercising less, still getting to have your gin, your takeaways, date nights, lost over a stone. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know.
Well done.
I know. Couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
So. And now we've got phase 2. So for those of the ladies in the group, you probably won't know that we do have a phase 2. I'm just seeing if we've got any questions. Which is where the lovely Emma is going to do more work with us for another 90 days. We can't wait. Excited to have you. Right, give me a wee second, Emma. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to see if we've got any questions. Right, Vicky says thank you for answering. Sarah is laughing at my baking skills. So Sarah Berloff is a baker, and she pisses herself every time I talk about making cakes because I made a post and pack cake, 3D post and pack cake. For somebody that doesn't bake, that's probably a little bit too adventurous, and it basically I made all these different cakes and then stuck them all together with toothpicks, and then thought, oh, icing will be nice and smooth, and basically rolled out this icing and just draped it over the top, and it started collapsing in the heat. So it was like post and pack and a head-on collision with Mrs. Goggins or something. Nicola Lampett, she was very impatient to start. Yes, she was. And that's all the questions I can see. I can see that there's 8, but that is only 4. If anybody else can see the questions that I can't see, feel free to pop them back in so I can actually see them. Not. Okay, right, my lovely Emma, thank you for joining me. So it wasn't too scary, was it? It was good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Right, thank you everybody watching us live. If anybody in the replay does have a question, please feel free to pop them in the comments and we'll catch up with them over the course of the week. Sleep challenge, remember this is your testing week, almost your prep week. Implement all the things that I put on the wee grid. It's all pinned to the top of the group if you don't know what I'm talking about. And then we go live on Monday. So Monday night is your first sleep of the challenge. So Monday night right through to Sunday night is your challenge. And I have started ordering in some of the stuff already for the prizes. So they're legit prizes. And yeah, if you've got any questions, you know where we are. But thank you, Emma. Thank you, guys in group. I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.